Hi, I'm Peter Christie, Director of Education and Outreach for Ballet West. Our outreach programs go across the entire state of Utah, educating and entertaining students and teachers, nearly 100,000 each year. As we're adapting to our changing times, we'd like to offer our educational opportunities online. What we're going to present today is our Ballet West for Children program that we take out to individual elementary schools throughout the entire state. We do hope that you enjoy the program. Thank you so much.
Good morning, or afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to our program, Ballet and Sleeping Beauty. My name is Roland, and today you guys are also going to meet some other dancers who work with Ballet West, which is a professional ballet company based out of Capitol Theater in Salt Lake City. We're going to begin by showing you a short example of our daily ballet class. Then we're going to have some volunteers come up on stage and do some dance steps with us. And then we're going to finish Guys, throughout today's performance, being quiet is going to be very important. It's going to help us out a lot so that we can hear the music. Thank you. And then we're going to finish with a miniature performance of The Sleeping Beauty. So raise your hands if you've seen a ballet live in the theater. Or maybe on TV? Good. So the steps that you saw then and the steps that you're going to see today were first performed by the kings and queens of France over 400 years ago. It was their main form of entertainment at the time. And so a lot of the words that you're going to hear me say today are French words, and I'll explain those to you as we go along. Now, the first ballet steps were very slow and very simple. They were developed by the men who wore very lightweight and flexible clothing, while the women wore these very long and heavy dresses because they were fashionable at the time. But as the years went on, all of the ballet steps got faster and more difficult. And the women's dresses got shorter and lighter until eventually they developed into the tutu. You guys are going to see several tutus later on in today's show. Now, ballet is an art like painting or singing or acting or creating music. We call the person who writes the music the composer, and all of the music that you're going to hear today was composed by a man named Peter Tchaikovsky. Can you say that with me? Peter Tchaikovsky, very good. He lived in Russia about 100 years ago. So as we listen to his music, you guys are going to watch the dancers take their daily class. If you see something you like, please follow your teacher's example and give the dancers a round of applause. Thank you. So as you can see, dancing is very hard work. It requires a lot of strength, flexibility, discipline, and intelligence in order to become a dancer. But there are many other people who also work hard to make sure that every single show is successful. We have men and women who play instruments in the orchestra that provide the music that we dance to. We also have a wardrobe department. Now, they're the ones who sew and clean hundreds of costumes and wigs for us to wear every single season. And lastly, we have our production department. They're the ones who build the scenery and set the stage and create the lighting effects that can turn an ordinary stage into a mysterious forest or an enchanted castle. So now that the dancers have caught their breath, I'd like for you to meet each one of them, and they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves and what they do every day.
Hello, I'm Alexandra, and I'm from New Canaan, Connecticut. Ballet West is a company of professional dancers, which means just as your parents' job might be a teacher, a doctor, a carpenter, or a farmer, a dancer's job is to dance. We start training from a very young age by taking 1 to 2 classes each week. As we get older, we add more classes every week. And once we reach a certain age and our technique is strong enough, we're able to audition for a professional company. An audition is a lot like a tryout for an athletic team or a cheerleading squad.
Hi, I'm Noel, and I'm from San Diego, California. Before we can become professional dancers, we must train our bodies every day, just like athletes do. It's like a football player, basketball player, or even an Olympic gymnast. We take an hour-and-a-half ballet class 5 or sometimes 6 times a week. We start by holding onto the bar, and we do exercises to strengthen the technique. You may also notice we switch which hand we hold the bar with. This is so that we develop both sides of our body evenly. Then we move into the center, where we move across the floor and test our balance. You may also notice that we always practice to music, so the knowledge of musicality and rhythm is very important to us.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm from Hilltown, Pennsylvania. Dancers must eat nutritious foods, get plenty of sleep, and take very good care of their bodies. One of the most important things we learn very early on is the practice of good posture. Not only is it important for us dancers to have good posture, but for you as well, so that your bodies can grow up healthy and strong. Now, can I see all of you sit in your seats with your very best posture? Very good. Now, do you think Noel here has good posture? No, I don't think so. Let's fix him. He should have both feet flat on the floor, his knees over his feet, his hips even and over his knees, his shoulders square and over his hips and his shoulders down, his chin up and his stomach in. Now that's good posture. Now that we have good posture, we can begin to dance.
Hi, my name is Tatum and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Have you ever noticed how a dancer's feet point out to the sides instead of facing straight forward? We call this turnout. We train our legs to turn out from our hips from our very first ballet class. Then we use this turnout in all of our steps. Now, let's see what happens if I try to lift my leg without using any turnout. It doesn't go very high, and it's pretty awkward the higher it goes. Now let's see what happens if I do use turnout. It goes much higher, and it's way less awkward. Turnout also enables us to move quickly and easily in any direction.
Hello, I'm Bo. I'm from Washington, D.C. Now that we've learned about good posture and turnout, we can move on to the 5 basic positions of ballet. First, with the heels together. Second, with the heels apart. Third, with the legs crossed slightly and together. Fourth, with the legs crossed and separate. and fifth with the legs crossed with the heel of one foot touching the toe of the other. Use corresponding arms and turnout in each of these positions. In most positions in ballet, gather, start, and finish with these positions.
Hi, my name is Megan and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. When I first started to dance, we would practice all year for one recitals at the end of the year. As a professional company, Ballet West gives over 80 performances a year. To prepare for these performances, we practice 6 hours a day, 5 days a week in rehearsal. In these rehearsals, we practice our steps to the music over and over again. When it's close to perfect, we put on costumes, stage makeup, and put our hair up in hairstyles and go on stage and practice lighting and orchestra. This is called the dress rehearsal. After our dress rehearsal, we're ready to perform for an audience just like you.
So in order for us to perform our best for you guys today, we brought a few special things. First, this portable bar, which we use to take class. Second, a sound system, so you can hear us as well as our music. Some costumes from the Sleeping Beauty, which you'll get to see in a little bit. And lastly, this special floor. It's called Marley. It's a lot like linoleum, which you might find in your kitchen floor. It provides a non-slip surface, so we know what to expect wherever we dance. Alright, so now that we know a little bit more about ballet, we'd like to show you how some of your everyday movements can be turned into dance steps. So raise your hands if you'd like to volunteer to come up on stage and dance with us, and Alex and Noel will come out and play with you. When you come up, if you can spread out on the stage for me. And I was going to say that. Let me do some pencil. Alright. You guys can spread out across here. Thank you. Center stage, right here. Okay, seems we're all ready. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to bend our knees and touch our toes. Are we ready? Bend your knees and touch your toes. Bend your knees and touch your toes. And bend your knees and touch your toes. Alex is going to show us how we can turn this into a dance step. Here she's doing a grand plie, which means a big bend with her legs. She's using her good posture and her turnout, while she uses her port de bras, which means a graceful carriage of the arms. Next thing we are all going to do, we are all going to do 10 jumping jacks together. If you guys in the audience would like to help me count them off, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now Noel is going to show us how we can turn this into a dance step. Notice this has the same shape and rhythm as before. He can change his arms or make it more difficult by adding beats with his legs. Next, I'm going to have all of the girls go to one side of the stage and all of the boys come to the other side. The girls are going to go first. Alex is going to show us this step, which is called a grand jeté, which means a big throw or a big jump. Notice how it looks like she's jumping over something. So girls, one at a time, you're going to run. Imagine there's a puddle in the middle of the stage. You're going to take off of your back foot and land on your front foot. Are we ready? Here we go. I think the lady in the pink skirt looks ready to go here. You want to give it a try? Very good. Very nice. Good. Looks like we have some dancers. And last but not least, go ahead. thoughts? No? That's okay. We're going to go from the other side of the stage now. Next, we're going to have 3 puddles, and we're going to jump over all 3 of them in a row. We're going to start with a small puddle, then a medium puddle, and lastly, a giant puddle at the far end of the stage. We're going to have to do 3 larger takes. Are we ready? And first we have, go ahead. 1, 2, and 3. Good job. Next. 2, and biggest. Very nice. 1, 2, and 3. Good. All right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Very good. Give all hands around the applause. So now, as I have the boys come out and spread out across the front of the stage, I'm going to say that all of these steps we do up here are very challenging, but they're also very fun and they're rewarding when you get them. They're perfect to try in a classroom environment or even by yourself at home. But for now, the step that the boys are going to try is called a double touron layer, which means 2 turns in the air. Noelle is going to show us this. Wow. He's going to do it one more time. Everyone watch, here we go. All right. Thank you. So we are going to start off with a single touron layer at first. So the boys will only jump up and turn around once in the air. In order to set up, we have to put one foot out to one side. We have to put the other foot out to the other side. And then we're going to slide one foot in front of the other. Like that. Do you guys remember what position this is? I have 5th position, very good. Gonna wait a couple more seconds for our friends to get set up here. Looks like we're almost ready. Foot out to one side, the other, and then slide it in front. There we go. Okay, I think we're about ready. So, I need you guys to help me. You guys will help me count them off. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then they're going to do the touron layer. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. Hold on. I'll say it again for us all. You boys are going to jump up, turn around once in the air, and come back down on 2 feet. Yes? All right. Can we count them up again? All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. I think that can be a little better. You guys remember how to get into position? We're already there. Fantastic. So help me count them off again. 1, 2, 3. That's all right. Next, we're going to try the double tour. They're going to jump up using twice as much force. They're going to jump twice as high, and they're going to turn around twice. Are we all ready? I think we are. Help me count them off. 1, 2, 3. That's all right. Give your friends a round of applause and hear from your substitutes. Are we ready? Can I have your attention? Okay. Thank you very much. Now we're going to put all of this together into the Sleeping Beauty ballet. Now, the ballet, The Sleeping Beauty, I'll wait. Thank you very much. Remember, being quiet is really going to help us hear the music in these upcoming sections. So now we're going to put all of this ballet stuff together into the Sleeping Beauty ballet. The ballet, The Sleeping Beauty, was first performed in 1890 in St. Petersburg, Russia. Do you guys remember the name of the man who composed the music for today? Peter Tchaikovsky, very good. Now, the man who writes the music is called the composer, but the man who makes up the dance steps is called the choreographer. And for this ballet, the choreographer was named Marius Petitpas. But for now, I'm going to bring out Tatum as the Lilac Fairy, and she has some very special shoes she'd like to tell you about.
This is a soft ballet shoe. It's made out of either canvas or leather. Because it's soft, it lets me flex and point my feet very easily. Men get to wear these shoes all the time, but women also get to wear this kind of shoe called a pointe shoe. In them, we can stand on our toes. Pointe shoes are made out of cardboard, canvas, and glue. The soles are made out of leather and held together with little tiny nails. Then they're covered in satin. I sew the ones on myself so that way they fit just the way I like them to. They're really hard when they're new. Let's take a listen to what they sound like. Each pair of pointe shoes is handmade by a cobbler and costs around $75. Sometimes I have to wear a brand new pair of pointe shoes every day. It can be pretty hard on my feet. Just imagine coming to school in a brand new pair of tennis shoes every day. Dancers must practice for a long time to gain a lot of strength before they can get their first pair of pointe shoes. It took me a lot of training before I could do steps like these.
Thank you. Now, next, I am going to bring out Bo as Puss in Boots, and I'm also going to bring out Megan as the Songbird Fairy. Now, in ballet, something that helps us to tell the story is the music. The type of music that is played helps to tell the dancer what kind of dance they are supposed to do and what the character is that they're supposed to be portraying. For example, the music for the cats is very slow and stretched out and mischievous, and sometimes it sounds like a cat's meow. So let's look at Bo as he demonstrates this. So his movements are very slow. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Songbird Fairy's music, which is a lot faster and brighter and has a more flitting feeling. So in this case, the dancer's movements are a lot faster and tinier.
In ballet, we tell stories without speaking or singing. This is called pantomime. We use facial expressions, body actions, as well as costumes in order to portray the story. In the Sleeping Beauty today, I'll be Puss in Boots, one of the characters at the fairy tale castle for the wedding celebrations. You can tell I'm a cat because of my costume as well as my dance steps.
Now there is also one more way for us to tell the story. There are many gestures in pantomime, which you actually probably already know. You'll see the Lilac Fairy doing these later on in today's show, but for right now, Megan is going to show us some of these movements. If you guys can help me guess along and try to see what she is saying, that would be a great help. So, go ahead. Me. You. Come. Good. And stop. Good. Simple. So, going on, we also have. What do you think this means? In this case, it's actually going to mean to grow up, because it might represent how a child gets taller and taller as they get older. Next we have sleeve, very good. Beautiful, very good. A crown. In this show, it is going to mean a prince because of the crown a prince might wear. Now, some of these gestures are very specific to this ballet and can be a bit tougher, but if you guys will keep helping me guess, that would be great. To talk, say, or speak. This one is going to mean to prick your finger. This is going to mean to not die. And lastly, to think. Very good. Next, I'm going to have Noel as the prince and Alex as the Princess Aurora.
In the Ballet of Sleeping Beauty, I play the role of the Princess Aurora. This is considered a principal role, and a ballerina usually gets to wear a beautiful tutu such as this one. Each of our tutus are handmade by our wardrobe department and can cost up to $10,000.
When a man and a woman dance together, this is called pas de deux, which is French for dance or step for two. When we dance together, we must practice, communicate or talk with each other, and trust each other. There are many steps in classical ballet that we couldn't do if we were just dancing by ourselves. For example, this is going to demonstrate this step, which is called a piqué arabesque. As you can see, she can balance very well on her own, but she always has to put her foot down. Now with my help, she can balance much longer.
Now, Alex can balance for as long as she likes. She can even hold this position as Noel does a promenade, which means a walk or a stroll around her. But he has to be very careful. He has to walk in a perfect circle, because if he walks too close, or if he walks too far away, look what happens. And they'll have to practice that some more. Another aspect of partnering is doing a pirouette, which is a turn or a whirl. As you can see, Alex can turn very well by herself, but she always has to put her foot down to stop. But with her partner's help, she can do one, or two, or many more, and finish in a different position. Now, the last aspect of partnering is lifting. The man has to lift the woman over his head. And a lot of people think that the man does all of the work here. So we're going to test and see how easy it is for Noel to lift Alex over his head when she does not help him. So he can do it, but it is not as easy as if Alex was going to help him with her good turnout and posture. Now, when they have worked together for a long time and they've learned to trust each other very much, they can do much more difficult and scary lifts. Here, they're doing a press. Thank you. Next, they're going to do a fish dive. He's going to toss her up in the air, catch her, bring her down into the position, and let go. Now, while the dancers get ready for their performance, I'm going to tell you all the story of the Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, there lived a king and a queen who loved each other very much. They had never been happier than when their little daughter, the Princess Aurora, was born. The king and queen planned the most beautiful and magnificent christening celebration and invited all the fairies in the land to bestow their blessings as godparents. You'll see the dance of the Lilac Fairy as they give their blessing. But no one remembered to invite the evil fairy Carabosse. They arrived in a fury and frightened everyone at the party. They were angry that they weren't asked to be one of the godparents. Carabosse predicts that when the Princess Aurora turns 16, she will prick her finger on a spindle and die. Everyone is terrified, but happily, the Lilac Fairy is able to change the curse. the princess will not die. Instead, she will sleep for 100 years and then be awakened by the kiss of a handsome prince. The princess grows up beautiful, gracious, good, and loved by everyone. And on her 16th birthday, a stranger gives her a bouquet of flowers. As she dances, she throws flowers to her friends, but hidden inside the flowers is a spindle. She pricks her finger and falls into a deep sleep. She sleeps for 100 years, and a blanket of magical lines grow up around her castle, which keep her safe. The lilac fairy leads the prince to her hidden castle. He awakens the princess with a kiss, and the spell is broken. The great palace is restored to life, and a grand wedding celebration begins. Fairy tale characters such as Puss in Boots and the White Cat are invited as guests. The young prince and princess are married, the happening of the happening. such a wonderful audience for us today. It's been our pleasure to perform for you. I would like to thank your principal for inviting us to your school today. We would also like to thank Ballet West and the Utah State Legislature through the Utah State Board of Education COPS program for providing the funding for these kinds of programs. Please voice your support for these kinds of programs so that we can continue to come and visit you in your schools. Teachers, we would love to receive letters about what your students took away from today's performance. And students, we would love to receive drawings and images of today's performance. These letters and drawings tell us a lot about what you learned from today. But once again, thank you for being such a great audience, and it was our pleasure to perform for you today.